China's ghost cities, remote and uninhabited, were the subject of Western media coverage a decade ago. Photos of these mega-urban projects were widely circulated online, showing thousands of empty apartments in muddy areas, beautiful boulevards completely devoid of human presence, and many grandiose structures standing idle. What is a ghost city? According to the National Science and Technology Council of China, a ghost city is an abandoned place with depleted resources. This definition has now been expanded to include any place with a high proportion of unoccupied houses and urban areas that are not lit up at night. It is estimated that China currently has around 50 million vacant apartments across the country. This means that if the average household had 3 to 4 people, these empty apartments could house 200 million people, that is, nearly 1/7 of China's population. This shows the scale of the oversupply and real estate glut in the country. Why are there so many ghost cities in China? China has developed so rapidly in recent years. As the economy has grown so rapidly, the Chinese government thought that the urban population would increase rapidly, and people from rural areas would flock to the cities to live. In 1978, only 18% of China's population lived in large cities. But by 2020, this rate had reached 64%. China currently has an estimated 10 megacities with more than 10 million people each. And it is estimated that more than 1/10 of the world's total population currently lives in Chinese cities. So they started building a series of brand new, beautiful cities. But there is a problem: people don't come to live there. A big part of the reason ghost cities appear is because rural people don't move to new urban areas like the government thought. China has a system called hukou. And moving between cities is not as easy as we think. Many people cannot or do not want to move to new cities, because the jobs and living conditions there are not as good as in big cities like Beijing or Shanghai. Many ghost cities are located in remote areas with little economic potential. So people are not interested in moving there, no matter how beautiful the government builds. If there are no jobs or good services, people will not want to live there. After the global financial crisis in 2008, China poured a lot of money into infrastructure construction, hoping to create jobs and boost the economy. In China, for many years, people have poured money into buying real estate not to live but to invest. Many people hope that the price of real estate will increase, so they buy and wait for the price to increase. But when too many people do it, the market is overinflated. And when no one wants to buy anymore, the bubble bursts. The result is a series of apartments and buildings left empty. In short, ghost cities in China appear because they have built too many houses, but not enough people to live in them. The high expectations for urban development, along with stimulus policies and real estate speculation, have created a series of abandoned projects. The large, modern cities are deserted like a scene from a horror movie, only lacking ghosts. China's most famous ghost city, Ordos City in Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region, China, is one of the most famous ghost cities in the world and also a symbol of excessive real estate development. The Kangbashi area of Ordos was once built with the expectation of becoming the most modern urban center in China, but eventually fell into a state of deserted, underpopulated, and vacant. Ordos is located in the northern region of China, in the Inner Mongolia region, famous for its arid climate, grasslands, and deserts. Ordos City is located near the Gobi Desert, with a semi-arid desert terrain, very harsh with cold winters and hot summers. This also partly makes it not very attractive to permanent residents. Ordos was once one of the largest coal production centers in China, with abundant coal reserves. It was this resource that helped the area prosper rapidly in the early years of the 21st century. However, After the demand for coal dropped sharply, the area's economy quickly declined. The Kangbashi area is the most famous place in Ordos city. Nicknamed the Ghost City, Kangbashi began construction in 2004 with the ambition of becoming a modern urban center, containing all the amenities of a world-class city. Initially, the city was designed to accommodate 1 million people. Everything from streets, houses, schools, hospitals, to government buildings were built to serve this huge number of residents. However, by 2016, only about 100,000 people lived here, accounting for 10% of the planned capacity. By 2022, this number will have increased but will still only reach about 150,000 people, or about 15% of the desired population. Kangbashi is built with an extremely modern infrastructure, not inferior to any major city in the world. The city is full of schools, hospitals, museums, public libraries, stadiums, and government buildings. But most of them are operating below capacity due to lack of users. Ordos is notable for its massive and unique architectural works, such as the Ordos Museum, a building shaped like a giant rock, or the Ordos Stadium, which can hold up to 50,000 people, but is often abandoned. The high-rise buildings in the city are largely uninhabited, with closed windows and no light at night. The wide roads, often with only a few cars passing by, create a feeling of desolation and coldness. There are many reasons why Kangbashi has become a ghost city despite being built on a huge and modern scale. Although many people think that living in a new city would be cheaper, in reality, housing prices in Kangbashi are very high compared to the income of most local residents, with real estate prices ranging from 6,000 to 8,000 yuan per square meter, equivalent to about 20 to 27 million VND per square meter. This is quite high compared to the Inner Mongolia region, where the average income is not high. Although the infrastructure is complete, the city lacks attractive job opportunities to attract people. Most of the people here are farmers or resource miners. But when the coal mining industry declined, they no longer had a reason to migrate to cities like Kangbashi. The city is located in a remote location, not close to major economic centers, such as Beijing, Shanghai, or Guangzhou, making travel and trade difficult. People don't want to move to a place far away from everything. In the face of the deserted situation, the local government has made efforts to revitalize Kangbashi, including many administrative offices and schools have been moved to Kangbashi to create vitality in the area. This has helped the city's population increase slightly to 150,000 by 2022. The government also organizes major cultural and sporting events, such as the Inner Mongolia horse race or the Asian Economic Forum, to attract tourists and create more jobs. Although Kangbashi is still deserted, it also shows the potential for development if the strategy is reasonable. Ghost cities like Ordos are a symbol of a China that has developed too quickly, invested too much in infrastructure without taking into account the human factor and real needs. Why are housing prices falling but still unsold? In mid-2024, China's new housing prices fell the fastest in 9 years. Compared to the previous year, they fell by more than 5%. Why is this happening? While we still say, people give birth, not land? In reality, in China, more houses are being built but people are not increasing that fast. China's housing prices are falling because large construction companies like Evergrande are in trouble. They owe too much money and cannot pay, causing housing projects to be abandoned. Evergrande's collapse is by far the biggest in China's real estate crisis, a crisis that has persisted for years, causing the world's second largest economy to slow down and a series of other real estate companies to go bankrupt. Evergrande owes more than $300 billion, has to sell off houses to have money to pay off debts. Everyone has gold. In 2020, This group announced that it owns more than 293 million square meters of land. Evergrande's land holdings, most of which are in first-tier cities in China, are worth as much as $81.34 billion. Buyers have flocked to Evergrande apartments in hundreds of cities across China. Evergrande often pre-sells apartments years before a building is completed. During its heyday, the group reported record sales as home prices soared. The collapse of major real estate companies has caused many people to fear that their projects will not be completed. So buyers wait or hesitate to buy. Home prices have therefore had to fall to attract buyers back. Since then, the Chinese government has decided to lock down real estate companies, not lending more money if they are too indebted. These companies run out of money to continue building, forcing them to cut prices to sell quickly and earn money to pay off debts. Supply exceeds demand. China is building too many houses, but the population is not enough to buy all of them. Houses are built but buyers are few. So investors are forced to lower prices to attract customers. Statistics: in 2023, there will be more than 50 million apartments in China that are empty. People are reluctant to buy houses. China's economy is no longer growing as fast as before. People's salaries are not increasing much, so they do not dare to spend a lot of money to buy houses. When there are few buyers, house prices must decrease accordingly. The Chinese government has issued regulations to prevent speculative house purchases. They increased taxes and limited the number of houses each person can buy, causing speculation to decrease sharply. And house prices must also decrease. Many young people now do not like to buy houses anymore, because house prices are too high and their income is not enough. They choose to rent houses to live, causing many apartments to be vacant and investors to reduce prices to attract buyers.